Dear beloved audience, those of you who have lived through so many springs and autumns in life, who have witnessed the changes of the eras from the golden years of classic Hollywood to the present day, surely you still remember those evenings spent beside the radio or in front of black and white screens, and later color televisions, following timeless love stories and the brilliant stars of the silver screen. Today, I invite you to join me in taking a little more time to step together into a story that is not only as beautiful as a film, but also filled with quiet pain and profound life lessons that, at our age, will surely touch your hearts. This is the story of Ali MacGraw, the woman who once embodied romantic love, innocence, and purity through the 1970 film Love Story. Now, at over 85 years old, she has courageously opened her heart to recount the terrifying years beside the man the whole world called the King of Cool, Steve McQueen, a man with irresistible charisma, yet carrying shadows that turned their marriage into a prolonged nightmare. Just imagine, all of us have memories that mix joy and sorrow. There are loves as beautiful as dreams, but also pains that linger and never fade. Ali MacGraw's story is exactly like that. It is not merely a Hollywood scandal from back then, but a deep reminder about love, about sacrifice, about the resilient strength of a woman. I will tell it slowly, in detail, so you can feel every emotion, every silent tear that Ali shed. Because at our age, we understand that life is not always radiant light. Sometimes it is long shadows, and it is facing those shadows that gives true meaning to living. Let us begin from the beginning, from Ali MacGraw's early years. She was born on the 1st of April 1939 in Pound Ridge, a peaceful suburb of Bedford Village, New York. It was the post-Great Depression era, when America was struggling to rise again, and her family was doing the same, though it was far from easy. Her father, Francis MacGraw, was a talented artist, but he suffered from severe alcoholism. His drinking bouts made him unpredictable and often prone to unexplained outbursts of anger. Her mother, Frances, was a woman of Hungarian Jewish descent who had to hide her origins to avoid the heavy societal prejudice of the time, an era when discrimination was still strong. Their home, instead of being warm and welcoming, was filled with arguments, shouting, and tense moments that left little Ali living in constant fear. Can you picture it, a child with big round eyes and long hair, growing up in such an environment, carrying deep emotional scars? In her 1991 memoir, Moving Pictures, Ali wrote that from a young age, she felt her family was different, not normal like the neighbors. She lacked serious confidence, always withdrew into herself, always afraid of adults' explosive emotions. That insecurity, that fear of abandonment, that fear that love could shatter at any moment, became etched into her soul. She escaped reality through books, through dreams of a better, more beautiful world without arguments or pain. Those childhood experiences shaped the way Ali would love later, how she was willing to sacrifice everything to hold on to love, even at the cost of herself. We all understand that childhood wounds never truly disappear. They simply hide, waiting for the moment to resurface. Yet, life always has miraculous turns. From an insecure girl in rural New York, Ali stepped into the world of modeling almost by chance. It was thanks to the guidance of the legendary Vogue editor Diana Vreeland, who saw in Ali a natural, unpretentious beauty. With her long, jet-black hair, deep expressive eyes, and sincere smile, Ali quickly became a standout face on fashion magazine pages in the 1,960 seconds. Her photographs, with their simple yet strangely captivating style, opened the door to Hollywood. It was a time when fashion and film strongly intersected, and Ali seized that opportunity brilliantly. In 1969, she had her first film role in Goodbye, Columbus, a romantic comedy based on Philip Roth's famous novel. The film told the story of a romance between a wealthy Jewish young man and a strong-willed Irish girl. Goodbye, Columbus was a huge success, both at the box office and with critics. Ali won the Golden Globe for Most Promising New Actress. That role proved her talent. She was not just beautiful but could act with depth. It was the perfect stepping stone for what was to come. And then, in 1970, her true peak arrived with Love Story. You surely remember this film vividly, one of the greatest romantic classics of all time, directed by Arthur Hiller, co-starring Ryan O'Neal. The story of Oliver Barrett IV, a wealthy young man from a prestigious family, and Jennifer Cavallari, a poor but intelligent, witty, and strong young woman. They fall deeply in love despite his family's opposition. But tragedy strikes when Jenny is diagnosed with cancer and leaves forever. The immortal line, "Love means never having to say you're sorry," became an icon, repeated millions of times. Love Story was not only an artistic triumph but a box office phenomenon, earning over $100 million, a colossal figure for its time. Ali played Jenny with transcendent brilliance. She brought sincerity, strength, hidden behind fragility, making audiences weep endlessly. The role catapulted her to A-list stardom, earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress, and turned her into Hollywood's symbol of innocence and purity. The world adored her, seeing her as the face of pure love, the dreamy girl everyone wanted to protect. At the same time, Ali's private life was blossoming beautifully. She met Robert Evans, the powerful head of production at Paramount Pictures, who had seen her potential early and decided to give her the role of Jenny in Love Story. Evans was a true Hollywood power figure, behind many major films, including the later The Godfather. They met, fell in love quickly, and married in 1,969 inches, a simple but warm ceremony. In 1971, they welcomed their son, Joshua Evans, Ali's greatest joy. At that moment, everything seemed unbelievably perfect. Ali had a dazzling career, a talented and powerful husband, and the happiness of motherhood. The press praised them as Hollywood's ideal couple. Who could have imagined that just a few years later, everything would collapse because of what seemed a simple career decision? In 1972, Robert Evans, as head of Paramount, decided to cast Ali as the female lead in The Getaway, a tense action film directed by Sam Peckinpah, starring Steve McQueen. The Getaway was about a criminal couple on the run after a bank robbery. At the time, Ali was the mother of a 1-year-old boy, Joshua. She hesitated greatly. She didn't want to be away from her son for so long, didn't want to leave her family. But Evans convinced her it was a great opportunity, that playing McQueen's wife would suit her image, and the film promised huge success. Ali agreed. Yet deep inside, as she later admitted in Moving Pictures, she sensed danger from the start. "I knew I was going to get into serious trouble with Steve," she wrote. "I felt that pull, and I knew where it would lead." You see, sometimes the heart warns us, but we still step forward because the pull of love is too strong. Steve McQueen, born in 1,930 inches, Beech Grove, Indiana, 12 years older than Ali, was Hollywood's top superstar at the time. The world called him the King of Cool. His life was a journey from the bottom of society to the top. A painful childhood, abandoned by his father early. Mother an alcoholic who sent him to reform school because she couldn't support him. He drifted, did odd jobs, even ran with gangs, but he rose through sheer acting talent, with rebellious hero roles in The Great Escape in 1963, Bullet in 1968, with its iconic car chase, The Thomas Crown Affair. He loved speed, motorcycles, race cars, and carried an intense, cold yet irresistible masculine charisma. Ali described him as a chemical attraction. When Steve walked into a room, men, women, children, everyone turned to look. He had a presence that swallowed everything around him. On the set of The Getaway in Texas, everything exploded uncontrollably. The chemistry between Ali and Steve was not just on-screen acting, it was real. The intimate scenes, the long days working together, ignited passion. The affair began during filming. News spread through Hollywood like wildfire. The press hunted them, the public thrilled over the new couple. The Getaway was a box office hit, partly fueled by the scandal's heat, but behind the glamour was terrible pain for Robert Evans, the man who had lifted Ali to the top, who gave her the life-changing role in Love Story, was now publicly betrayed before all of Hollywood. Evans was devastated, blindsided, completely betrayed. At the end of 1972, Ali filed for divorce from Evans. It was a massive shock, a scandal that reverberated throughout Hollywood. Later, their divorce story was even featured in the Paramount Plus series The Offer, about Evans' life and making The Godfather. In July 1973, just months after the divorce, Ali and Steve married in a simple ceremony. The press hailed them as Hollywood's golden couple, the most beautiful pair. They moved into a beach house in Malibu, California, a private paradise with blue ocean, white sand, dreamlike sunsets. At first, everything was truly beautiful, truly romantic. Barbecues with close friends, hand-in-hand walks on the beach, passionate, private moments. Ali thought this was true happiness, a real-life fairy tale. She loved him madly, swept away by that intense charisma. But gradually, cracks appeared slowly but surely, and they led to horrors Ali had never imagined. Steve carried deep emotional wounds from childhood abandonment. His fear of betrayal, especially by women, turned into pathological jealousy. Ali said that if she so much as glanced at another man, even fleetingly, Steve would erupt in rage. He controlled everything in her life: who she saw, where she went, even how she dressed and spoke. He wanted her to belong to him completely. Yet paradoxically, Steve openly flirted with other women. There were countless rumors of his affairs, nights he disappeared, stories circulating in Hollywood circles. Ali suffered, felt humiliated, but stayed silent for fear of losing him. And what Ali sacrificed most, what hurt her most, was her career. Steve, then the highest-paid star in the world, demanded she quit acting entirely. He made her sign a prenuptial agreement, ensuring she would get little if they divorced. And most importantly, he made it clear: "I'm the biggest star, and I don't want my wife working." At the height of her fame, when Hollywood was courting her, fresh from an Oscar nomination, Ali agreed. She feared losing him. The childhood fear of abandonment surged powerfully. She later said, "I played the role of housewife, the simple woman to the extreme. I cooked, cleaned, cared for Joshua from my previous marriage, and served my husband constantly." Imagine a talented woman like that, now isolated in Malibu, cut off from friends, from the spotlight, from her own passion. The loneliness grew, became suffocating. Steve was heavily addicted to alcohol and drugs. Nights, he vanished, then returned erratic, suspicious, angry. Ali began drinking to ease the pain, to forget the isolation. What had been passionate love turned to suspicion, heavy silence, and rare but violent arguments. The Malibu house that had been paradise became a prison. Ali felt controlled, suffocated, yet she stayed for love, for fear. The mid-1970s were her darkest years. Rumors of Steve's infidelity grew louder, clearer. At first, Ali deceived herself, tried to believe the man she loved was still there, buried beneath the anger and chaos. But the truth was too obvious, too painful. The humiliation and loneliness led even Ali to briefly seek comfort outside, though fleetingly. The relationship spiraled into mutual betrayal and bitterness, each wound cutting deeper than the last. In 1977, Ali could bear no more. She told Steve she wanted to return to acting, to reclaim her career, to reclaim herself after years of sacrifice. It was not just about work. It was a declaration of her right to live, to be herself. Steve's response was cold and final: "Then we get divorced." Those words shattered her remaining illusions, confirming her greatest fear, that she had never truly mattered to him. In 1978, after 5 years of marriage filled with passion but also pain, control, and jealousy, they officially divorced. Ali tried to return with a role in Convoy in 1978, again directed by Sam Peckinpah, and later appeared in 14 episodes of the TV series Dynasty in 1984. But Hollywood had changed. She was typecast, overlooked, no longer the brightest star. Her career never regained its former glory. She was alone, sank deeper into alcohol to numb the pain. Then, in 1980, the greatest tragedy struck. Steve McQueen died at age 50 from mesothelioma, a rare cancer caused by asbestos exposure from his youth. The news shocked the entire film world. Ali grieved inconsolably. Despite all the suffering and betrayal, she still loved him deeply. "I wish we had grown old together sober," she later said, a poignant acknowledgement of what was lost to addiction, pride, and cruel fate. Steve's death pushed Ali to her lowest point. She drank more, her career faltered, pain piled upon pain. But at rock bottom, Ali found true strength. In the early 1992s, she entered the Betty Ford Center for Rehabilitation. There, she confronted not only alcohol, but all her emotional wounds. Unhappy childhood, 2 broken marriages, a career lost for love. It was a monumental turning point. In 1991, she published her memoir Moving Pictures, a candid, unflinching book that became a bestseller. She told everything: the rare, wonderful days with Steve, and the ghastly ones. "There were wonderful days, and there were ghastly days. I was not a victim," she declared firmly. In 1994, Ali left Hollywood forever and moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. There, amid peaceful nature, mountains, clean air, she found true healing. She practiced yoga daily, meditated, gardened, painted, cared for animals. She lived simply, sober for over 30 years. She collaborated with female artisans worldwide on fashion projects, helping and empowering women a way to redefine herself, no longer sacrificing but independent. In 2016, she reunited with Ryan O'Neal on stage in the play Love Letters, bringing back their old chemistry for audiences. It was a friendship that endured through the years. Dear friends, Ali MacGraw's story is a long journey from dazzling light to darkness, and then to true peace. At 85, she lives with gratitude, fully in each day. She teaches us that it is never too late to heal, to love oneself, to find peace. I am moved telling this story because at our age, we understand the value of sobriety, of freedom. Ali harbors no resentment. She only feels gratitude. What do you think of this journey? Please share your thoughts. Like and subscribe if it touched your heart. Thank you, and peace be with you.